But yeah, the last video or so really okay. I guess we're still alive. We can examine
my family cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, even in death.
Is that the death poem of our uncle or something? Oh no, we just grabbed some of the
I used to think I only needed a horse, a bow, and my katana.
but I also need ninja bombs. What the hell are we dressed as here? We got a new white version of the ghost outfit. Might not be new, it's just the one that they defaulted us to here. Yeah, anyway, to try to wrap up all these... yeah, like the uncle character's motivations... Oh, I think they... oh, never mind. These are... I thought maybe we were being shown where everything on the map is. But, no, I think it's just... because there was a question mark up here. No, it's still here. Never mind. All right. Yeah, the uncle's whole motivations just became a whole lot clearer to me at the end there. And I keep talking in circles, I know, but the idea that yeah, it's the fate of the clans. It's the Sakai clan and the Shimura clan, and the fact that for both of them, because Jin has obviously been pulled really far outside of the samurai ideal and way of thinking now, because he was fighting for the island, he was fighting for the people. He's a hero in the purest sense, and I was a little annoyed by this whole plot line. You used poison, and now the Mongols know about poison. It's like, no, that whole thing was like, that was just fucking stupid. I'm sorry. Like, I understand what they were trying to do. Like, he made this decision and he thought it was the right one, but it was actually a mistake, and he has to own it. It's like, no, I can't buy this idea. Somebody point me to the history where I'm missing, but I can't buy this idea that, like, this is a specific poisonous plant native to Japan that the Mongols might not have known about. But the idea that the Mongols would not be aware of the concept of using poison as a way to kill their enemies was silly. And that was really important to why the uncle was so angry at Jin. I needed a better reason, because that whole thing didn't make sense to me. And in fact, if it was true, like, Jin's like lack of guilt over how that had gone was pretty irresponsible. But because I thought that was a dumb reason to be angry at Jin, I didn't really get angry at Jin for not feeling guilty over it. But the whole thing with, like, yeah, it's hard to say exactly where Jin's head is at the end. But his uncle is clearly thinking about the honor of the clan, which has just been completely fucked up by all this. And the only way he can redeem it is to obey the shogun's order to kill his own nephew, whom he loves like his son. Like, his uncle was in a really impossible place. So I felt a lot of sympathy for him at the very end. So let's, we're going long, but let's see what's going on here.
Taka's trial run, before he made my grappling hook.
Because I don't know exactly where we are. We are, Dawn Refuge. I'm just trying to figure out... Yeah, I'm trying to figure out exactly where we are, because the Omi village up here was the home base of Clan Sakai, and Shimura Castle was the home base of our uncle's clan, or Castle Kaneda. I'm sure this was explained somewhere along the way why our uncle and we are in different clans. But I also, I understand, like, you know, the Mitsudaira and the Tokugawa, and, like, yeah, they're like, the clan system in Japan is confusing. It's not like a plot hole that they were members of different clans. It's just a thing that's kind of can get confusing. So I think we're hanging out in, like, I'm hoping we're hanging out in Yuna's home, because I'm really hoping we wrap this story up with Yuna. We deserve something good. Jin deserves to have something good.
Lady Masako lost everything.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
If she can keep moving forward, so can I.
But can she keep moving forward? Do we get a like scene where we find out what happened with her?
I lived under these banners most of my life.
It would be nice to check in on those guys because we kind of don't know what happens to Norio and Lady, what's her name? And I'm kind of annoyed by the idea that they would all just disappear.
How long did it take Yuna to make this? I owe her everything. She's the one giving me gifts.
But like, yeah, for you to have an open world where you can still go around fighting Mongols, I guess they had to set it up to make that possible, but...
I wish you were here, Uncle.
But instead I've stolen your armor and placed it in this shack.
The twin mountains of Clan Sakai. I won't let my family fade from memory.
I will make them ghosts? Wait.
Kenji's best. Or so he tells me. I'll have to share it soon.
I guess the implication of these scenes is all those people still exist and he still talks to them, but we don't get to meet them in gameplay. And that's a tough one to figure out too. Like, you can wander around as John Marston in the post-game of RDR2, but after a while, and there are a few little things the game throws at you where you can go meet members of the old gang, but for the most part, like, you know, you go talk to, what's his name, the cook, and after 2 or 3 conversations with him, he's just a normal shopkeep. Like, they can't make these worlds live forever. It's not fucking World of Warcraft where they're going to put up new content. And I've never played World of Warcraft, and I know people complain about it not being that perfect, but yeah, like, I always found that, like, there's a handful of games like that where, like, the post game, like, you can still free roam. I just find sad and empty. Like, Red Dead Redemption 1's world, if you try to play as Jack Marston, where you can just go to do, like, horse breaking or mumbly peg or cards with unnamed or generic NPCs in a world where all the plot characters are gone, is just sad. And I can see this. Oh my god,
You should be here, Rizzo.
I'm already depressed.
Trading stories, getting drunk.
Did I kill you? I guess I did, didn't I? Oh crap. I killed you. I forgot about that. Oh shit. But yeah, like, if the last game reference this game makes to Yuna is that she made apparently a birdcage for him as a gift and left it, and we can't encounter these NPCs anymore, that would be depressing.
Tomoe didn't need this anymore. I hope she found what she was seeking. Jin Sakai is hereby an official student of Sensei Sadanobu Ishikawa. What have I gotten myself into?
Oh, I paid for my Ishikawa Archery School certificate.
Yuna's knife. The blade's dull. Can't believe it's still in one piece.
At the Grand Line.
For most of my life, I dreamed of being your son.
I guess he's not talking about Yuna anymore.
Mario promised he'd teach me to play the Horagai, so we can signal each other across the island.
That liar. Yeah, none of those characters died.
You were faithful to the end, Nobu.
But that's not Nobu. That's Nobu's saddle in some kind of horse simulacrum. You were also faithful, other horse whose name I've forgotten. I forgot that, yeah. I think this LP went on for too long. I wasn't drinking at all during this LP. Well, there was a couple of times where I off-screen. But no, I didn't record any of this LP drunk, and yet I forgot the death of Nobu as well. I'm a real son of a bitch. Or I'm just getting super old.
Smells almost sweet.
Too sweet.
It's as deadly as any blade.
I don't even know what he's talking about there. Okay, so what's our objective? I don't want this video to go too long.
Jin.
Oh. Hey.
I like your new home. It suits you.
What we'll have to do.
You knew, like, Yoda in the Dagobah swamp home.
Been branded a traitor.
I heard about your uncle. I'm sorry.
That you had to murder him.
I did what I had to.
Matters is your ally. You defeated Khotun Khan and left the Mongols without a leader. The mainland is safe.
But our home
You want to
is-
go there? Visit it?
Khan's forces are stuck here, more desperate than ever to conquer our island.
Then we'd better keep fighting. Just don't forget. It's Tsushima needs you.
I'll never forget that.
I'll never give up.
We'll cover more ground if we split up.
Get the Mongols from all sides. Take back our home.
Goodbye, Jin. And take care of yourself.
I will.
Okay, I guess this is it.
You too, Yuna.
Our goodbye to Yuna is we'll cover more ground if we split up. And therefore... Yeah. So the end of the game, and maybe... Oh, what are these? Oh, we can replay the duels. Oh, some of these are duels, some of these are Mongol bases. Okay. I gotcha. Alright, so they give you some replay options. Probably including, this is probably where we do a Ryozo. Yeah, we could replay that. They're now showing us where the undiscovered locations are. Yeah, okay, so I feel like a bit of a tool, because I try to do full map clears, but in fact, the game just tells you where everything is at the end. Fair enough. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just a coincidence. But it does seem like, yeah, we've got some really good map. Yeah, these are fully explored maps now. Yeah, in that case, we did pretty damn good job of finding everything. We got like 2 little undiscovered things here. Okay. All right, so I think we call it. So, kind of disappointing ending as far as, like, I don't, this is the thing is, the more I like a game, the more I nitpick at the end. Like, I give the Rockstar games a lot of shit for their pacing and whether the individual cool story scenes actually gel into a good story. In this one, it's like, I really liked some of our companion characters. Some more than others, but, like, you know, Norio, like, he had a good, compelling story. I didn't get into him, but, like, I think because he was introduced later, and I had an attachment already to Sensei Ishikawa and Lady Misako, who had a really tragic tale, and I thought they had the appropriate amount of comic relief with what's his name, Kenji. I can't even find him. Yeah, Kenji. I thought he, you know, I kind of wish we had more stories with him because it was a break from the seriousness of it. But overall, I liked all these characters, and then they all just kind of drop off at the end because it becomes about Jin and his uncle, which is appropriate. But like, I guess the game had to end somewhere. Like, it's a tough transition into an open world where you get to keep playing. Because like in a Fallout game, like the NPCs are hanging around, you can go visit with them, and they just run out of dialogue. That's a different feeling of emptiness when you go talk to. And there was some YouTube video like parody of you finished a quest with this female NPC, and you basically, by the time it's done, you're like essentially in love, and then when the quest completes, she just becomes an NPC who chains through the same 2 lines of dialogue, even though, yeah, like, I have that feeling about the whole game now. Like, Yuna, I wanted Jin and Yuna to end up together, and what's our final moment with her? We'll cover more ground if we split up. In their open-ended, infinite fight Mongols forever quest. We have nothing indicating what the journey into the... Yeah, but it's called Journey into the Past. I guess that should give me some idea that this is not part of the current story. But I'm going to throw down a save. I'm going to go for myself, look up what happens if you spare your uncle. But I hope you understand, oftentimes I'll go and do both endings. I've done that many times before. I feel like for this LP, I just feel like I want there to be one that we did, and I think that was the correct one. Man, I mean, now I'm looking back, and I'm like, no, we could have been like, fuck you, uncle. Like, I think if the dialogue between us and our uncle had gone a little, if there was less of it, if it didn't explain things as well, I would have been like, no, fuck you, uncle. Not only am I going to go off and be the ghost, I'm not even going to give you the death you desire because you're a son of a bitch. But like, I had a lot of problems with the character of Lord Shimura that resolved themselves just in this last video. Just listening to him and like the look on he's a very like the character design, the model, like it was all beautiful. Like the pain in his face when he tells Jin that they have to fight to the death. Like the very end of this game, I think, was very beautifully done. And the game isn't over. We got 2 undiscovered locations, and yeah, you damn well better bet I'm going to visit those just for fun. And I'm kind of really curious now about this DLC. And we will do that. I understand that this is your jumping off point. I think a lot of people have jumped off this. It's been a long series. In my mind, I want to compare it to... oh, now I'm blanking on the name of the series. This video is going super long, but it is the final video of the main story, so I guess that's okay. I'm blanking now. What was the name of the series? Yuan, the Yuan Sword, Yuan 7. Yeah, in my mind, I'm comparing it to that game, which again had like weird story issues with like. I didn't know, like characters that felt like they were going to get built up and they never were. It also, but that one had this ending which wouldn't seem to end, and I actually kind of appreciated it. That like they really took their time and let you live in the world for a minute. Gave you very small, very non-challenging little gameplay things to do, while really slowly unwinding the world that the protagonist would live in. But then again, that game had a much happier ending than this one does, of course. But no, that was also one where by the time it was over, like I felt nobody was still watching the series, but I was still having fun. And the story of this one, it just got so fucking sad. I would be, part of me is like, I don't want to do the DLC. I just want to be done. This feels like a really good ending. I had really lost a lot of the thread of the character motivation. I was like, it's been so long since we've done anything with Lady Masako and Lord Ishikawa that I kind of feel like I've lost the thread of why we care about them. And then at the end, we get like one little chat with each of them before the final mission, and they don't actually, they're not actively part of it in any way. Yuna kind of gets to hang out with us in the second to last or third to last mission, so we kind of feel connected with her, and she is the last person we speak to before the world of like, you never encounter any characters again, and you just wander around in an empty world, like that inevitable, crushingly empty experience of the post-game. She's the last person we speak to, which is appropriate. Where was I going with this sentence? Yeah, like, the more I like a game and the more I like its characters, the more crushing it is when we get to the point where it's like Final Fantasy X did not need a mode where you could run around and play blitzball. Or, but then again, Final Fantasy X did have that. It was called Final Fantasy X-2. a whole game where you just run around doing nonsense in the world that had once been full of people. But Final Fantasy X-2, I joke, because functionally it did feel like a post-game version of Final Fantasy X, except that it had an entire game's worth of content and like the people were still alive. It wasn't like after, like, it wasn't like you like Titus is no longer in the party, but the rest of the characters can wander around and they can go to Luca and they can play blitzball, and they can go. But you know, Final Fantasy X didn't really have a lot of mini games for you to revisit. Final Fantasy, I'm way off on tangents now. Final Fantasy X, the only point ever in backtracking was to get the Oran spheres. And it really was a game where if you from the point where the Oran spheres first become available, you go back and get them at the beginning rather than pressing forward, getting the airship and collecting them later. You could manually backtrack through Kilika Island and Besaid, but they all felt really empty. Yeah, it was like before there was Red Dead Redemption and Jack Marston, adult Jack Marston, playing Mumbly Peg with unnamed NPCs in Mexico, which had no reference to the events of Mexico as it had been with John Marston. Before there was that, there was Final Fantasy X and wandering around in places that no longer were involved in the story before you finished off the game. But now I'm in like this weird mode where I refuse to end the video. So we're going to end the video. Maybe I'll have organized some post-game thoughts for next time, because next time we're going to hit those 2 question marks, and then we're going to start the DLC. Because I am going to do the DLC. And I'm legitimately curious what form it's going to take, because it could be... It's called Journey to the Past. I'm curious about this, because it doesn't feel like you could have a game with a lot of characters and a lot of dialogue and a lot of stuff happening. It would be very awkward to write around the fact that the game doesn't know whether you killed Lord Shimura or not. The post game of this wouldn't matter, because none of the okay, if there's quests you missed, like just regular NPC quests, they all now that I think about it, are written in a way where they don't make specific reference to Khotun Khan. So the fact that the Mongols are still hanging around, which makes sense, like they don't just all automatically disappear because you killed Khotun Khan. There's a logical sense to everything, but it still feels really unsatisfying that we're wandering around in this world where none of the story characters who should care about Jin and be talking to him about what's going on will exist anymore, and there are still Mongols that will just randomly generate to fight. It makes sense that there's still Mongols on the island. It's just so unsatisfying. I feel for the Sucker Punch guys, because they made a beautiful game, and there's just a central conflict between cinematic storytelling and trying to make a game that I don't know how you fix it, but I don't know that they found the answer either. Anyway, I don't know. This is a super long video. When we come, and I need to tack on a couple of, like, I think I have to tack on the weird less than a minute video I had before I restarted my recorder because the sound was all fucked up. But when we come back, I'm curious about that DLC, so let's see what's going on.